how will that work if you're living with me in Brooklyn?
Well, it'll be the same, except I'll be in Prague.
It's time to turn to your friends for support.
How about worst-case scenarios after graduation?
Jane dumps me to move to Prague. I spend the rest of my life with you idiots.
How long can you avoid commitment?
Want to get married?
Yes. Yes, I do.
I didn't want to have any attachments.
Yeah. Me too.
Hi.
Compromise.
Whatever you want. What do you want to do?
I don't care. What do you want to do?
Before Ellen, right after your mother, I went to bed with a woman. She was...
Dad, I'm not really ready to accept you as a human being yet.
Honesty.
Can we just admit some lies that we may have told each other?
I didn't say a word.
I thought he knew. So express yourself.
Wait, I can't stand you. I can't stand that.
Is that a pajama top?
No.
Yes.
Your hair drives me crazy.
God, I begged you to stay on Prozac.
Just get out.
Just remember to follow your heart.
Just get out. Out. Go.
Use your imagination.
If we were an old couple, dated for years, and
One. Oh, hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
Ding, Rhian Holmes.
Okay, that was good. Right. The start of a brand new series that we've inadvertently already started in two ways, because we started this series in many ways 2 years ago with a shared favourite film of ours, The Wonderful Marriage Story. And then we accidentally started it because I told you to watch the wrong movie. So we've already recorded one of these BAUMBACHINAL episodes.
And also, I realised we spent about 5 minutes on the end of the last one talking about how we're going to think about this one, even though we already knew that it was in the wrong order.
It's already in the wrong order. And I think, I think we didn't spend 5 minutes. I think I said something very, well, it turned out to be true, isn't it? Which is that despite my belief that you would find Squid and the Whale enjoyable, seeing as it is in more or less the exact same mold as Marriage Story, there is something, very enjoyable and light and quippy about a load of intelligent, attractive people, going about sex and college and all that sort of business. That sounds very derogatory. I do think Kicking and Screaming is possibly the best version of that, but it's not something exactly that hits for me. It is something I've no doubt hits for you, and you made that very clear when you were like, oh no, I enjoyed this one a lot more. Why did you, in the knowledge that Squid and the Whale hasn't come out yet, but that is a known movie to some extent, tell me on its own, but also, I guess, in conversation with Squid and the Whale, why you enjoyed Kicking and Screaming more, if not a lot more.
I mean, as someone whose window of time to say that I'm recently graduated is fast closing, this movie kind of presented itself to me at the perfect moment. Yeah, just I felt very seen, very resonated with, and yeah, I mean, we touched a little bit on, well, we touch a lot on Squid on the Whale in the next episode, but I think it's a very eloquent snapshot of like family life, and it's done incredibly well. I think this one takes a very different shape, kind of like in terms of dialogue. I think it very much feels like, okay, here's these basic characters. We're just going to use them as vehicles to say all the funny shit that we have wanted to say as the writers for a long time. And so there are just a lot of like, not cheap gags, but like random moments, kind of
funny one-liners.
Like you just wanted to like make us laugh there. But I'm kind of okay with that, and like with the style, it just.
Oh no, I again,
on board from like early on, then.
I reiterate that I think that this is the best version of that, because I've seen so many versions. Like there is, let's call it Mount Rushmore of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. This, I guess Dazed and Confused. Those, well, not that Dazed and Confused is Linkletter's first film, but like burgeoning writer and director's first movies. Again, Cameron Crowe didn't direct Ridgemont High as well. Anyway, expulsion movies, like people talk about the great first novel, and it's because you've been saving all of your ideas for 20 years, and then you're finally able to put them all into one big book, and then you don't have anything left for the second book. That's obviously not the case with Baumbach. We are skipping 2 movies. So we're skipping Mr. Jealousy, which is very hard to find, and then Highball, which is the movie that he took his name off. College. Did you start playing the trailer for Kicking and Screaming?
Can you hear that?
Yes. Are you watching TikToks, Rhian?
It's fan cam of Grover, sorry.
I knew this was coming as well.
Actually,
no, it's not Grover. You like, what's Chris Eigelman's name? Chris Eigelman's the actor.
I had a cheat sheet for the character. They didn't have the actors.
That's fine.
Sorry, can we just to share this? I've got Skippy, long hair, dating Miami.
Yeah.
Otis, pushover.
Yeah.
Max has the quiff. Grover,
the lead.
Wet wipe dating Jane. Chet, old ginger.
Yeah. I mean, did you know that old ginger was nearly your Marty McFly?
Wow.
You know the whole thing that Back to the Future shot for a week with a different guy?
No, I didn't know that.
You don't know this at all?
No.
Sorry.
Because in my house,
I did that thing. I did that. I know. I did that thing that I'm trying not to do. I'm trying. Again, I'm recently, in conversation with a new person, and all the time they haven't seen any movies, and I catch myself and go, no, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I wish I could, watch this movie for the first time. It's exciting. Same with Back to the Future. So Back to the Future shot for about a week and a half with Eric Stoltz. Originally they wanted Michael, but he was trapped onto what was the show he was on? Not Family Ties. Anyway, and they were like, no, I can do it. I think I can do it. I think I can do it now. And it was pretty good.
Yeah.
No.
It was giving a little bit MJ. And not Marty.
Dak. Anyway, so the infamous story is that they then fire Eric Stoltz and then go to the cast and announce it and say there's good news and bad news. The bad news is Eric's leaving us, and a camera guy from the back shouted, "That's the bad news." Is the infamous story. Anyway, Eric Stoltz was never made to be a movie lead, which I'm sure much to his chagrin he is annoyed about. But he is excellent in all of these independent dramas as the guy who's slightly too old, shouldn't be around. You haven't seen the movie Rules of Attraction, but he takes that to the nth degree. He plays the creepy college teacher, married teacher who has a rule. We can have blowjobs. That's okay. And he takes it to the max. Very funny, very dark, very good.
Yeah, he was very well suited to this role, I feel. I do have a change in terms of like casting, but I don't know if we want to touch on it now or
go for it now. Why not? Because that's not an actual change. Oh wait,
yeah,
no. Well, is it a hopeful change? Are you gonna? Well, anyway, you talk.
Well, just because I feel like he was cast very well as kind of like the guy who's been graduated 8 or so years and is still in the town, but he doesn't look that much older than everyone else. I feel like all of them look like 30.
Yeah, but well, now we're doing. I mean, that's just
like, is it like a Pen 15 moment where they're like 4-year-old playing 15-year-old?
Yeah, but you don't want. But also they're all reeking maturity. Let's talk about this now. So again, you've seen the best version of this, but you've got the sort of, the Woody Allen school, sort of post Woody Allen noir. and you got this, and you've got Whit Stillman, and Whit Stillman and Kicking and Screaming feel really of a kin because this movie literally looks like Whit Stillman's movies. And the best of his is Last Days of Disco, which is a great movie, which I think you'd very much enjoy if you enjoyed this. And it's Chloe Sevigny, and her name is Kate Beckinsale. Very, very, very good film. Anyway, and it's set in disco. And Chris Eigelman's in it. And there is these extended moments where they just talk about, some crap that they've wanted to put into a script for a while. And it has that pop culture reverence that, again, in the wake of Tarantino, although this is, slightly on the cusp and slightly during Tarantino, everybody gets so wrong. And everybody just gets so cringe-inducing and so cloying. And here it's, again, it feels more natural. Because I guess it's because it's realistic. Like, nobody then goes into a whole diatribe about, let me tell you what Friday the 13th's about. Jason comes back because he's going to kill everyone, but he's actually the government. Better?
Who was that?
Quentin Tarantino. You've never watched a Quentin Tarantino interview, have you?
No, I have.
Okay.
I watched the one where he was like, because it's fun.
Jan.
Jan.
It's Jan. Why the need for so much? And she's like Bette Midler in Hello Dolly or something, the voice. Why the need for so much aggressive violence? Because it's so much fun, Jan. I reject your hypothesis. Anyway, Kicking and Screaming. Were you in from the start? I feel like you were going to be in from the start on this one.
I'll tell you when I was in from. Not like.
No, you won't.
And no, not like right away. I think maybe towards the end of that whole sequence where they sat around, like, because when it's kind of pockets of conversation, I was like, oh, is this going to be like annoying? And then when they were all together around the table doing their little like a game show thing, I think that was the moment for me.
Do you like these people? Because I feel like a real, I think an inaccurate thing that people hold against Baumbach in some of these movies is that they're very unlikable characters.
And as we know, and I'm going to say this as if I'm saying it for the first time, even though I know that I've said it a lot and said it well. I like having people to root for. I like having at least one kind of voice of reason or one, butt of the joke, comedic relief, etc. I think they're fumbling and they're like still not fully fledged people, despite having, received a formal education and like being out the other side in the real world. And so I think from that angle, I enjoy it. I enjoy watching them kind of flounder and fail because of that hopeful note of like, you've still got time. You're in your 20s. Rather than seeing full, like frontal lobe developed divorcees being absolutely irredeemable assholes.
I have no idea what you're going to think of Margot at the Wedding. So we'll talk about that because I think it might be, is it his weakest movie? I don't know. I don't want also you to head into it with you thinking it's his weakest. Anyway, we'll see. Yeah, and then I'm thinking about like Greenberg is entirely based around him not being unlikable, but just anyway, movies to come. But and also you've got the romance here. You've got it's very transplantable, you don't people talk about, Saw not being scary. I don't know what it feels like to be trapped in an oven, but I do know what it feels like to have that little thing in Black Swan where she just rips too much of the skin of a nail. And we unfortunately do know what it's like to be in, fading relationships, long distance relationships, and all that sort of shit. And that just naturally transplants a lot easier than who knows? We'll all get divorced and then Squid and the Whale and Marriage Story ring a little bit truer. But were you, I guess, I don't know if invested is the right word, because I obviously know that the airport ending's coming, but did you think there was going to be any resolution to Grover and Jane, or did you think it was going to be a film? And not that I'm saying that the great joy of that incredible airport scene is that it's an empty resolution, but did you think there was going to be any capping on it, or did you think it was going to simply be a movie about him coming to terms on his own, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, because we had all those flashbacks, and that was kind of the only non-linear thing that kind of tied them together as kind of this two central people. I did expect something in the way of like just a closing conversation, really, because it ends with him not even calling her back to be like, yeah, I'm gonna see you, like we can work this out, or like I miss you. But I do love how they did it. Like I love that kind of, you say non-resolution. What did you say?
Empty resolution.
Empty. I like to think of it as open.
Wow. That's our well, there you go. That's our entire relationship, isn't it?
Exactly. Just because you have this like, and it's interesting because I thought of you watching Squid and the Whale and thinking the ending was cute. And I was listening to this whole like inspiring monologue delivered to Susan from Friends.
Yes, lesbian Susan.
Lesbian Susan. And thinking, oh, well, this is verging on like sickeningly cute. Like she can't let him on the plane, there's no seats. And then just the passport thing, like the penny drop was brilliant. And just the beautiful simplicity of you can go tomorrow. There's always a chance. And again, this is where we differ because you're thinking he's never going to go now. But for me, it's like you can go tomorrow. You don't have to have.
Oh, this is the first time I've ever had anybody hear this take.
But well, this is why we do this.
No, but I don't think that's I
don't think he's going to go the next day. I think he's probably going to like.
I do love Susan's delivery. You can always go tomorrow.
But just that idea of like, you don't have to be great. You don't have to change the world in an evening. The idea of, okay, you've graduated, the whole world is stretched out in front of you. It's gonna feel slower. It's gonna feel just like life plodding on. And I know this is like getting close.
Yeah, I feel like you're going. Yeah,
it's okay, guys, because you can still do things even if you're not immediately successful, right? Right.
You know what the original title of this film was?
No.
Rhian's gonna fail in life. No, no, it was originally titled Fifth Year, which I think is just excellent.
But then that would imply that they'd found a way to stay on. Whereas
stop it. Some American courses are 4 years. Why was that your anyway? Again,
no,
we're in different.
Like
I've already
implied that they're like super senior. Some people do that.
True. Well, like the wonderful Parker Posey says, you're only being with me so that you can stay close to college. Incredible. And in a sense, I mean, different relationships to post living in college. I chose to, live with your ex and basically be in all the same friendship circles and the same university town and for another year and work the same university job I did. And it was weird in many ways.
Looking back on that now, like you are so brave for that because I don't know how I would have felt.
The bravest part was the two roommates I had to live with, other than your lovely boyfriend who remains a friend, ex-boyfriend who remains a friend. That was the scariest part. Have you ever woken up to shit on your floor, Rhian?
Have I?
No. And messaging the room chat, and saying somebody shit on the floor, and then somebody go.
great moment for
And
me.
then somebody
My stuff.
messaging going, I guess somebody missed. And I thought, I don't find it very funny. Nobody admitted it. Anyway.
Well, they didn't have to. It was me. Imagine, what would you do if all those years later I was like, yeah, it was me. I just didn't
It
know how
was
to tell
me.
you the
I
time.
just shed on the floor. It's just disgusting. Anyway. Imagine having, and then I had to have since, and then they demanded anyway. Fifth year, kicking and screaming. Best 10-minute stretch. Every movie should open. You've never seen The Godfather because you don't have taste. Sorry,
I was
no,
just
I'm
talking about
trying.
that yesterday.
That you haven't seen The Godfather
Yeah, Bella was like, how the hell have you gone this long being friends with Thomas Carruthers and not seen The Godfather?
because
At this
it's
point, it's an act of rebellion.
nah. It insists upon itself. No, because
So,
because it's not too long. Obviously, it's a perfect length, but it's 3 hours of Godfather. Then you do have to watch Godfather Part Two, which is 3.5 hours. Next time it's screened on a proper screening and you can't escape, I'll take you.
okay.
Um, it is great. I know, but you have to go in with an open. If you go in with like, yeah, oh, The Godfather, here we go, and doing that with your face as well. The Godfather, sure.
Let's see
Um,
what all the fuss is about.
do you think that there are any movies genuinely in your unseen list that you are intentionally not watching out of spite? This is an honest corner. This is an honest zone.
That's a great question, actually. Because I feel like even if certain films are like overhyped by the film bros, there's always a reason. And like none of them have been ruined by their viewership so much that I'm like, oh, I can't watch that. Do you know what I mean? Because even like things like The Matrix or like American Psycho or like Wolf of Wall Street, it's like the viewers are so annoying because
Yeah, but
they've
they've been
misunderstood
yeah.
what the film was meant to be telling you.
That's a
So it's like you
very
still have to
specific.
watch it to get that
Yeah,
sense of like, but you know what
that's
I
a
mean? Like,
no. I know what you mean. I know what you. Yeah, that's a very specific lane though. I don't think that's in the same lane as you not watching Citizen Kane because it's too big, shall we say?
no, yeah, I mean,
But then you would watch Citizen Kane whenever in your life you do, and the middle
yeah,
30 minutes
that's
when
the
they're
thing. I've
running the
got
newspaper, you're gonna love. Like
that's the thing. Like, I've no, I haven't like deliberately avoided watching them up until now. They've just never come across my table. My
Citizen Kane is great. This is the sort of conversation that we're being kicking and screaming. Which this whole started because of my thing that every movie should start with a 10-minute to half-hour sequence of a party or a wedding, like The Godfather, where we meet everybody and everybody's having a drink. All movies should. Even I don't think I've ever
Because
written
that's
one.
them at their most like honest, I guess.
I mean, the first half an hour of The Godfather at the wedding is the most economic, glorious writing, opening,
I've got
acting.
an amazing quote written down. I keep quotes of everything funny that my friends or flatmates say
Oh,
out of
it's
context.
kicking and
And
screaming.
I've got I think it was Ruby saying, "You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding." I love Zootopia.
Oh, right. Do they do that in Zootopia?
Yeah, it's like a little mouse. Zootopia, incredible film.
Okay, furry. Um,
Why that has actually been a running joke all weekend, and I've lent into it too much. Now no one believes me when I say I'm not.
uh,
Anyway, kicking and screaming.
what can I say? I just like getting fucked in a big furry suit, you know. Um,
That'd be our scene in the wedding.
yeah. That's another great thing. I love all of the non sequitur lines. Again, it feels like something. Again, is it? I there is a slight shapelessness to that. Again, I think this is an incredibly strong debut.
Mm.
Put our personal tastes aside, I can't help but look at Squid and the Whale, which is only 2 films later. One, if you count Highball as the unfortunate mess that it was for him, and just see an absolute leap and bound leap
No, I know
when
what
it
you
comes
mean.
to the
I think,
realism and the tactility of the dialogue. Because I
yeah,
think in like future movies, sorry, Rhian, I think in future movies, he's still able to put those one-liners in that we love, but have them feel natural. Whereas this does feel, in part, like a gag machine. Continue.
no, definitely. I think structurally, Squid and the Whale is a marked improvement. It's a lot more sophisticated,
Mm.
In what it's trying to say as well. I feel like every filmmaker deserves their kind of, breakout film of just guys and dudes and girls muddling through. Like, because that's all I want to write about.
Yeah.
I just want to like have characters, that are so endearing and like have nothing to offer, but they
Sorry, your
relate.
characters are supposed to be endearing.
Oh,
The
I missed the memo, sorry.
I am interested when you give me a drama or something. Or don't do what you want to write. Woody Allen wrote the same script for 50 years. That's not true. But let's talk about that Woody thing, because you only know Woody through reputation
From the
as
headlines.
one of the great as one of the great filmmakers of our time. No, so you've made a moral choice to never watch a Woody Allen movie. Is
That's what I have
watching?
seen from the rep.
Oh, you haven't seen Annie Hall. You haven't seen.
I've seen Midnight in Paris. Didn't like
Oh,
it.
okay. Yeah. I'm not a huge Midnight in Paris guy, but what did you think of that vibe? But that's Woody when he's like having to move the vibe to Paris, not for legal reasons, but like to invest a little bit more excitement and high concept into it. Anyway, but he had
Yeah. I've
high
seen all
concept
the clips of Blue Jasmine because it was required. Oh no,
clipping. It is required clipping, but you haven't actually watched it yet. Oh no,
ants.
ants. Yeah.
Good about ants.
Well, that's one of my great jokes in the radio play I wrote. I wanted to make something like those great late era Woody Allen movies, like Ants. No, but you've not watched any of the ones which are just rat-a-tat dialogue, people in New York walking the streets talking about their relationships and their lives. And there is, I guess, in that regard, something, did this feel fresh to you or did it feel derivative?
I mean that's a big question.
I was going to say the
I
same
guess it
thing.
didn't feel. I guess fresh isn't the word, but like
And I don't
timeless.
think derivative is either.
Yeah, like a lot of things really did land with me now, as I say. It's 9:30 in the morning for
It's
the
a water bottle. You're the 5th person to make this joke, so and all the episodes come out of order. So
well, hopefully mine comes out first. Yeah, a lot of things did land with me. I messaged Tom and I said like I had a lot more laugh out loud moments with this
yeah,
one. I'm just like, oh God, like this is a mirror.
but then this again. I'm thinking of the laugh out loud moments I had with the Squid and the Whale on my nice little can of Sauvignon Blanc on the train, like Bernard when he like when he hit the tennis, and I find it just a lot funnier. Again, I can get past the pain. I live in pain, but no. Um, did you do your thing where you read the Amazon Prime um, description of what the film is, or did you just go in with me saying it was a lot of erudite, rich, nice people making jokes?
I just went completely blind, and I think that was probably the best port call because, like you say, it's kind of shapeless, doesn't really have like a plot per se, but I could
Well,
just
this
kind of
is,
enjoy whatever came up.
I mean, people have said, what's this Noah Baumbach new movie? I sent the tweet to you. It's been described as something. It's it's been anyway. His new movie that it may possibly be is shooting and finished and might be ready by the end of this series. So we'll find out an emergency episode. But it's been described as something, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that sounds about right." It's been described as, "Oh my God, what is it?" A funny and emotional coming of age story about adults, and everyone's like, "Yeah, that's all of them." So, and this feels like a funny coming of age story about early 20s, and he's never really done that again.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Francis Hart. But I just see Francis. I can feel Noah all over it, but it does feel so very much. I don't know. I see that as a Greta movie, even though it's more Noah than it is Greta. Anyway, we'll get to that when we get to that. And then my other 10-minute stretch is obviously the airport. Just an incredible. Just we get swept up in the romance of it and the monologue of it, and then the wonderful Jessica Hecht, Susan the lesbian. You can always go tomorrow. And again, I look at that face and I see in his eyes the realization of, but you're never going to go tomorrow. This was your one chance. And I've listened to multiple not saying that your positivity is wrong, but like I listened to 3 different podcasts about the film, and everybody talked about the ending in the vein of him accepting that, Jane's gone and that this was his one last chance.
Well,
maybe I listened to a lot of depressed middle-aged men,
Yeah, I guess it depends on what kind of guy you decide that he is, because obviously this is the same guy that hasn't been returning her calls, wait for her to stop calling. Like, he is a bit of a coward in that sense, but I just feel like it's hopeful in the sense that you have room to change. You can be like a 20-something asshole now, but if you want to rekindle things, if you want to take charge of your own life, you can. There's always the opportunity.
I mean, there is another possible bittersweet ending with the same, button of this of he goes to Prague, gets there, and Jane's moved on and forgotten about it because you didn't reply to any of my voicemails. What is this? And have that same, bittersweet, ending that this obviously gives us. Tom's weirdly specific favorite parts of the film. Here's my drunk boyfriend. Great. We haven't. No. We're going to save this for after the break and talk about. Let's just talk about some of these, some of the cast, because we haven't gone down the cast, and it will surprise nobody. Go on, finish my sentence. What are you going to say? It will surprise nobody that.
These are your favorite women.
Olivia d'Abo is Jane, a beautiful writer who's funny and likes music. But more importantly, I love Parker. You know how much I love Parker Posey from our wonderful Christopher Guest series, and Carla Biono, who plays Kate, who maybe steals the film. I do love Kate.
She is great, although it is included in one of my changes.
Obviously, yeah. No, but I will only refer to Kate as her rightful name, Dr. Faye Miller, from her absolutely astounding run in Series 4 of Mad Men. Dr. Faye Miller, the great... Oh, when are you going to watch it anyway? Is it broken? The lamp? Great. Well, you don't know what that means. That's like, the dog. I'm watching the trailer now on imdb.com, and the I Cheated on You with Parker Posey scene, isn't it? They do far too much in trailers. And we were trying to pick a movie the other day.
Yeah.
We were trying to pick a movie the other day, and so I was like, "Oh, we'll watch the trailers and you can decide." And they put more or less it was an 80s trailer for Fatal Attraction, and it was 4 minutes long, and half of the movie was in it. And I was like,
"Oh, this new one, We Live in Time, with Flo and Andrew. It's like you see everything."
I think from what I'm reading though, that's again, this movie will have come out. I've reviewed it. You'll have loved it. I'll have been mid on it or whatever, and nobody will remember it anymore by the time that this comes out. But and it won't have got any Oscar push, and then it'll immediately disappear, because it's a very competitive race for Best Actor and Best Actress this year. But I believe that that is how they're doing it, is that it's very liminal and back and forth and back and forth. It's not a straight linear 2 hours into her cancer, but I could be wrong. It's not like the masterpiece that we watched again yesterday. Astounding fun. Astounding fun. Kicking and screaming. Oh yeah. So do you call Josh Hamilton a wet wipe?
I did. And I did again. I guess they're all kind of a bit wet, aren't they?
By design. Like what?
No, yeah.
What negates a kicking and screaming character against the sort of dry, intellectual, vapid, empty men that you normally take to?
A camera. And actually having funny things to say. Well, no, actually, that's the thing, because if I met any of these men in real life,
You'd sign up.
I would be probably like drawn to them and then realize, oh, you're like so annoying. Like, because he's
isn't
such
that
just like self-indulgent dialogue, and it's like people, it's a gag machine. Like, they say things knowing that they are going to be well received. And so yeah, I think you kind of you just got to lean into like the absurdity of it, but and not not with too real ahead.
I also find that there's a level of quality to these performances. Like none of them, apart from, I guess you could say Parker Posey, but it's not like she was Meryl Streep or anything, like level of fame, not talent. Like Josh Hamilton has had a very, very successful elongated New York theatre career. Like, he's clearly not interested. There is an alternate universe I can see where Josh Hamilton, I mean, he was in one of the Bournes, and he was in like one of the Bourne Identities, and of course he was great as into the man who interviews Leonard Bernstein in Maestro. Yes, when he was wearing that fantastic cable knit sweater. Need to bring Lenny back.
Lenny.
Oh, I love Lenny. Did you have a standout favourite or not at all?
I really liked Max until the end. I was yeah.
The end being,
oh, I don't know, him dating a 17-year-old. I just think she works for the school. She didn't have to be 17 at all. And he's
but
the
again,
one.
like,
Well, he's not judgmental of, Grover sleeping with a freshman, but it's like kind of, it feels understood that like that's all it would ever have to be. Because
I wouldn't say it's unrealistic though.
No, it's not unrealistic, but I just think
it's like them taking the Patel monologue out
his character, like, of all people, because I feel like he is more of like the cynic.
Cynics can be drawn to beautiful women, and yes, I can call her a beautiful woman because she's not a 17 in real life.
I just think like just odd.
Odd, but I wouldn't say was there any part of you that was like, oh, Max wouldn't do this?
I mean, I guess I just tried to defend him, but no, like
exactly. It's like them taking the Patel monologue out of current productions of Glengarry Glen Ross, and I'm like, oh, you think these 80s stockbroker piece of shit wouldn't be racist? Why? I know times, but it's like none of this rings false to me in any way, shape, or form. Which is and then
yeah, and I think that's an issue I take sometimes, is like when people do like adaptations of things and then like they try.
And back. Rhian was interrupted. I don't like adaptations of
Yes.
things, and then they try.
They try to overly sanitize things that would have been true of the era, and I know that sounds really like
Something you'd say.
bloody PC culture, but it's not. It's obviously there's a way to kind of not be so overt and so like, you know, overt with like xenophobia, like, homophobia, racism, whatever, like so that it's still enjoyable to watch. But it's like if you're sanitizing it to the point where you're like, okay, these are bad people. So these are opinions that they would have held. To show that is not the same as condoning it.
I think the big thing is that I don't necessarily I think these are bad people. So, you can't write off any of these characters or anything because we are supposed to. And to be honest, I kind of do still like Max, I'm not going to, because it feels,
It feels typical of men of that age. And that's the thing. It's like, I was saying, I liked him for the majority of the film. And then I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. Because I can't say that it's shocking or that it's out of character. Because that shit happens all the time. So
yeah.
it's not, I guess it's not an issue that I take up with the writing, but it is a change that I maybe would have enjoyed seeing more.
I've got a few changes. We'll do that in a second. And then weird list specific favorite parts. Oh, here's my
Do you
drunk
even do
boyfriend.
10-minute stretch? Because I
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes. No. Go on.
No, I just had the ending. Like,
Yeah.
again, it's
I
so
had the airport into the flashback though.
Yeah.
You like that, did you? You want somebody to do the old person monologue to you?
No.
I'm currently in a position.
I wanted him to do the whole thing and her be like, there's still no space on the plane. Like, what did you think I was going to be able to do?
Think I can get you in.
Think I can get you in. Too nice.
Oh.
Too nice.
She's not nice as Susan. Hi, Ross.
Actually, watch
She is
that
nice.
back.
No,
And you'll
I'm
find
kidding.
that she's
I'm kidding.
actually very nice.
I'm kidding. I think they're a very lovely joint partnership or whatever they call it. That's all kosher still. Nothing offensive in that. Anybody did a rewatch? The lesbian politics? Yeah.
Oh God. It's bloody rife with outdated stuff. I will say, still love Friends.
And that's fine.
I mean, the writers have fully said, like, they've not attempted to retcon anything. They've just said it was written in the 90s. Not everything's going to hold up. Are bad. Do you know what I mean? And like sometimes that's all you need to do.
Yeah.
And not pull a J.K. Rowling and be like, everyone's gay. They're actually all gay and minorities.
Yeah. I don't think that's what pulling a J.K. Rowling means anymore.
Not anymore, no. But I guess in like the 2010 to 2020.
Oh, to be back in 2010 when she just said that, everyone was gay.
No.
Writing down notes from life. I've never been one of these people. I am a writer. No, that's a lie. The only time I've written down notes of things happening in the moment or funny things is when I was on the cruise and I would make notes on all of my daily schedules. But that was in the eye of turning that all into a book or something like that. So,
well, because you also had that blog.
Yeah, infamously. But yeah, no, I typically am not an autobiographical writer. Much to your disbelief. Actually, that's not true.
You're a semi-autobiographical writer, but I don't think you lift entire moments of like dialogue.
I'm also
I think that would be in keeping with your style anyway.
Apart from It Did, which does have extended just truth things. But
so you're a liar.
I'm a horrible liar. I did it once, and it's always icky reading it again. So even though you think that's the best thing I've ever written, So
Well,
no,
I like taking real situations and kind of blowing them up for
mm,
comedic effect, like taking it to absurdist levels almost.
mm,
Like, I had an experience with an ex-partner
mm.
and I took that as a concept and I was like, what if he was? It was kind of therapeutic for me, but I was like, what if he was the like extreme level of this like,
Well, there
Tony
is
pretend guy?
there's definitely a therapeutic angle to it. I mean, I'm going to have to 11th to the 15th of November at the Hen and Chicken Theatre in Islington go through therapy every single night as I've
Yeah.
unintentionally written a monologue to be delivered to my face, which all of these, which again hoisted by my own petard.
Yeah, but
Um,
you're also I think we're both also safe in the knowledge that no one's going to look at our work and be like, that's me.
One time on the cruise, oh no, this is a longer story than it needs to be, but there was me and my cruise lady were in the wedding play that I wrote live for the whole crew on
God, I
board,
forgot you did that.
and there was an extended farewell scene which you've read because I then
Mm.
transplanted it into Transatlantic, which is probably better, which is a lot better than it did. But anyway, and and then the wonderful art director Jack, I don't care, he doesn't listen to this, but the wonderful art director Jack, and he was like, "Yeah, it was really great, apart from that scene near the end where it was just you and her actually going through things. That was weird."
It's a
Weirdly
treat for
specific.
everyone.
King Kong, the other King Kong, um, Olivia Buono's retainer.
That's in my change.
You don't like retainers?
I'm fine with retainers, but why are you taking it out at random moments, covered in your spit?
She can do whatever she wants. Jane
You
can.
take it out to eat or to kiss someone.
Hmm. Maybe she thought she was going to kiss him.
She's just holding it, and she's at work.
She's not at
Gross.
work.
It's
Yeah.
gross.
I really like to ace her douche. Yeah. I really like to fuck her on the tennis court, if you get what I mean.
Challenges.
Yeah. I'm due a challenges rewatch and for queer season, and
Is this queer season? I didn't get the memo.
it will. Yes, it will be. Well, we are going to watch Rookie Horror. I've put my hand in my mouth up to touching all of that money. Disgusting. Absolutely outrageous. I hate touching. I love money and I love cash, but I hate coins.
I love money and I love cash. All my money needs to fold.
We like the money that tinkle. What is she saying coming to America? Anyway, Kafka once again. Guy loves Kafka. Kate smoking 2 cigarettes at once. Insane. The after party that sucks where they're playing Buffalo Soldier.
Oh my God, I've been to so many of those. It's so real.
It's painful. Unfortunately, they don't end as that one ends. Well, my brother's gay, so I know. Maybe the best of the random non sequitur lines. I think I might take a trip to Auschwitz. Trip to Auschwitz. What am I saying? Potato is an entree. Potato. I put here the desperately seeking Susan haircut for Dr. Faye Miller from Mad Men. It's nonsense sentence. I'd feel more the wonderful Elliot Gould about his car. I'd feel more comfortable standing by the window, keeping an eye on it.
That would be so. My dad hasn't even come to visit my new flat. I've lived here 7 months.
Where would he park?
Where would he park, for one? But that is how he would be. If he could park, he would be like stood next to the car.
And when he's talking about where they'd put his Lolita movie, the video store manager, you plan on still working here after making a motion picture? It'd be really cool because people would come in asking about the movie.
I just love you have to do 2 rounds of interviews to work at the video store because that is again like just resonating with me so much because I'm actively applying for jobs and it's like I have all the qualifications And
Rhian, this is
indeed,
the joy. This is the joy of podcast. This podcast comes out in months from now. You've already got that job.
oh, great.
Just
But
don't
like,
really listen to it.
I think if this were like made again for like right now, it'd be like I'm getting emails from Indeed being like, "Oh, your bachelor in communications would be perfect for steakhouse, farm and grill."
It's rough out there.
It is rough out there.
Come doggy. Is it me or does bankrupt come up more often on Wheel of Fortune now? Very funny. Who the fuck cares what Jason does Friday the 13th? Of course, my birthday's in a month, so I'll be 43. I have this fear that you're all around the machine giggling or something. Oh, well, poor Jane. And then at the end, I mean, is just the glory of and pain of a relationship when she takes out her notebook at the very end. It's good to do that. That's good. And then how did we first meet them? Why do you write everything down? And
it's like the things that are endearing then become like insufferable.
her little cockroach, her little cockroach tattoo. Savage Days of Summer.
Oh God. I only watched that once. Once was enough.
Oh my God, I didn't know this was happening. But isn't Tom the architect one of the ultimate meat memes?
Yes. But like not in a way that's fun.
Your Wheel of specific favorite moments.
That random guy at the beginning at graduation, who's like really full on. And Max is like, Lewis, my friend, I've got to go now. Bye-bye. Otis's friends not knowing what he's studying. That's the most relatable thing ever.
Yeah.
Like my closest friends from Cardiff. I was on the phone to one of them the other day, and he's doing an assessment for his master's, and I said, "Oh, you're doing it in person?" And he said, "Well, I'm not driving all the way to Aberdeen." And I said, "Why the hell would you go to Aberdeen?" He said, "It's the University of Aberdeen is accrediting it." So didn't know that. Otis and the waitress not wanting to take back the drink that's got like literal food in it. I just love Otis. I changed my mind. Otis is my favorite.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me.
No, I know. I've got Amy struggling to take the turtleneck off.
Yes.
Did she have a bra on?
The incredibly attractive woman who Grover sleeps with
In the dorm room.
in the dorm room. Yes, she has a.
Okay.
Yes, she has a bra.
I just
and then she takes the bra off.
I
then
really
keeps
struggle with scenes
the
like
skirts
that
on.
where it's like, oh, I'm laying it all on the table. I'm gonna take off my clothes like immediately.
It has happened and it's great. Again, we go back to my semi-autobiographical script where I put a scene in that was quite sexual, and you said no woman would ever do that, and I had the immense joy of saying, "Wow."
Maybe I just don't have moves.
I don't
Maybe
have
this
any
is what
moves.
I'm
I have
discovering.
like a 2-month pocket of moves where I feel like a god and then spend 10 months depressed. You have
Yeah.
a slow trickling throughout the year.
I'm the woman you marry, you know? My favorite like random kind of background character moment is the jester and the knight.
Yeah.
And don't start with me. This has been the worst day. And then I've got Max referencing his invisible name tag with Kate. Max.
That is. Let's shoot straight into Best Single Minute because it is again a segmented movie. Noah cameo, first and last time. He does a cameo.
First and last.
I don't fine. I won't say last officially, but I'm pretty sure it is officially. I don't have that knowledge, but I don't think so.
Sure.
Would you rather fuck a cow or
He's
lose
one of
your
the
mother?
Kens, wasn't he?
He should have been. Again, I stand by that being the funniest thing ever. If they did win Best Screenplay and went up. And I'd like to thank Noah for writing that glorious monologue that you all loved so much. There's another cameo in this. Jonathan Baumbach, who would later become Bernard, as the guy who runs the English class.
No way.
which in a way works well with you watching Grindelwald.
Yeah.
Meeting Carla, but meeting Dr. Faye Miller from Mad Men, shooting aggressively and talking like outtakes from Funny Girl. Guova, um, an incredible scene here. I got to sleep with a freshman. My uncle's a therapist. He wrote a note saying I was mentally unstable. Um, Astounding looking woman. I watched this on a train. Um, we need to talk about train politics, because why can't I watch a great movie on a train with
When someone takes their top off.
I'm not going to skip.
Because you got decorum.
Uh, um, I don't know. I was recently widowed. I hope you don't mind me taking my top off just this once. I mean,
Oh, I bet you jizzed over that.
no, I just over
Oh,
the next
just
line.
this once.
Just over the next line. Come on, be romantically self-destructive with me. You want to talk about hitting home to home?
Ding.
The the book club of all the pretty horses opening with the line. Good job, we both speak Spanish, right? uh, brilliant, brilliant. And then the movie
Oh,
star.
the violence.
You know, the arousing violence of it. Yeah. The movie star. Where would you put Turner and Hooch? Comedy? Close. We have a section for dogs. And then again, somebody put Terms with David in prison pictures. It's supposed to be a terminal illness. Oh, any reference says. I mean, it just means that Noah again is close to my heart. I've always said that his movies are of akin with Terms with David. Grover's dad. I mean, I'm 56 and I've got to start using condoms again. I mean, by the time that you get it out of the package, you lose your erection. Should I put condom talk in Tom's big question? Let's do that.
Cool.
Okay. Dr. Faye Miller starting on the parking guy. This guy should be bow hunting. He doesn't want to do. Why are you starting on him? Should be bow hunting. And then Grover at the bar talking advice with Eric Stoltz. Any nominations for best single?
I've got the initial, like I say, the initial game show moment around the table, the dings, just a good way to like settle in with the characters. The argument between Grover and Jane that you should smoke too. What do you mean you don't smoke anymore? Max's little bit on nostalgia. I'm nostalgic for events that haven't occurred. I'm reminiscing this right now. I don't need to go to the bar because I've already been and I didn't have a good time.
It's very hard to write realistic 20s teenager self, I think I'm the smartest man in the room dialogue without it actually coming off as annoying and cloying. And this rides a very, very fine line.
Well, I think like they can take it in terms to kind of rib on each other as well and not find each other impressive. Like, and I think that's what makes it. I think that's what makes it with a lot of like kind of boy heavy comedies or like, I bring it back to Dead Poets a lot, but like that kind of like band of brothers, misfits kind of story where it's like, yeah, they all are quite self-important or like, they want to each be the main character, but they're always going to kind of bring each other down a peg and ground each other when they need to. And so like it's nice to see those interactions with each other is what makes it. What else did I have? Friedrich at the bar.
What a guy. What a guy.
Racism on a global scale. From Howard Beach to Crown Heights, we witness acts of hatred. What does that mean? From Howard Beach to Crown Heights.
Like
from here in the kitchen, we witness acts of hatred.
Again, bizarre accent. It feels right, but from all across the world, we realize it's like half.
Don't they say something early on of like, oh, I wish I'd done a semester abroad? So is this guy actually from Berlin, or did he just do a semester abroad and come back with a weird accent?
It's one or the other. I think Friedrich, the name Friedrich
Yeah.
gives it away.
He went away as Freddy and then he came back as Friedrich. I don't know what he's trying.
That's a good joke.
Grover and
Oh, go on.
Jane, what if we did have a love affair? I can't lie, the beginning of that scene pissed me off. Where she was like, I'm having a moment where my name sounds really weird.
Yeah, she is. Jane does ride a line for me that isn't always there. You made the assumption, but Jane actually isn't in the Tom Hall of Fame. Like,
No.
I do find her a little bit annoying.
Yeah. But then that's the thing, it's like, are we
On purpose
affording
annoying.
the men more opportunities to be annoying than we do the women? I feel like
We haven't mentioned Parker Posey once. That's not true, but it feels like it. We haven't mentioned, like, she's great in
True.
this. Like, she's great in this. We haven't talked about I think it's because Skippy is a little bit wet. Like, she is acting circles around him in the I cheated on him scene. Do you think that, well, let's segue somewhat into what's the change. Do you think that Parker gets a little bit short shrifted, or I
I
don't
think
think.
so. Yeah,
Yeah.
like she didn't really stand out for me, but I don't think that's an issue that I have with her or her acting at all.
If she wasn't Parker Posey, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
necessarily a character or some, we'll be talking about. It's tough because I also don't know what I'd add or anything like that.
No, I guess not.
There's just more, just be dealing more with it. I mean, this isn't not a narrative movie anyway. Any other best single minute nominations?
And then I just had the airport. We can always go tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Let's do a little bit of what's the change then. Go on. You've discussed the politics of a 17-year-old. Anything else?
Yeah, I have Max and Kate casting. I'd love to see this just for no other, reason than just for me. Like, I just would like to have it on a hard drive in my room. Just like a modern day like adaptation of this. Like
Okay.
it could be it could be exactly the same, but I just wanted to see it with like today's 20 somethings and just see how that would change it for me. Because like, I mean, a lot of these
Yeah.
people were known for me,
Hmm.
which I guess adds something to it. But also, yeah, I'd be interested in like whether the
Yeah, no,
characters
you're
are
right.
more
There hasn't.
endearing if they are known names and
There
also
were
look a little bit more age appropriate. Sorry.
probably wouldn't be age appropriate, would they? They'd probably cast Timmy and Tom Holland still, and then like who's
I don't know,
now.
maybe it's just because like people looked older in the 90s.
Also, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but I could say, for every single movie ever, can you recast this with my favorite people? That's not a change.
Oh God, no! Like, like that's what I mean. It's purely just for me. That's me being self-indulgent.
So I guess no, but I know, but I guess it leads on to another a larger question of them of you. We haven't had such a film. Like, this was the 90s version of this. You could even say that Dead Poets or Fast Times is the 80s version of this. There hasn't really been I guess you'd say super bad. I guess
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those.
Ladybird is closest. It
Yeah,
just, so in talking about Greta and Timmy, there will always be, movies about the adolescent experience or whatever, but no, there is something about this specifically that feels kind of evergreen because it's not tied down by anything, which I guess is a change. Like, it's not tied down by
that's so
anything
true,
in
actually, 'cause I feel like,
narrative or anything.
yeah, a narrative or kind of big names that then like in 10, 15 years time you recognize as like, oh, they were really big during that time.
Other than Elliot Gould, who was already big.
Yeah. So I guess that's kind of like something like a good quality to it is that, you can place it anywhere. It doesn't
And
immediately
Parker
give it
Posey,
away.
but I guess before Christopher
Yeah.
Guest, you didn't know who Parker Posey was.
I guess I could say that about any film where I just don't really know the people. Like,
Yeah.
It's great.
What
It's just so amorphous. Like
when
it's
we when we
here and
go
it's
watch The
nowhere.
Godfather, you're like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that guy who played Sonny was really good. Oh, you mean James Caan? Oh no, sorry, you know James Caan is because you've seen Elf
Yes.
and Misery.
Yeah. There
There
we
you
go.
go. What's the change? I don't like the sepia transitions. Call me a basic bitch. I just think they're bad.
You're basic.
They do a list of monkey movies and they don't mention Any Which Way But Loose, the monkey movie.
Hmm.
And I love a title card, but only 1 month until Christmas vacation! Exclamation mark. Feels weird.
Who's written this?
It's like midterms, fall semester. Only 1 month until Christmas vacation. It's like, what? Sorry, what? Do you have any other changes? That's kind of it for me.
Just Jane's retainer. Put it in your mouth or not at all. Like,
Oh, um, tagline rundown: Anxiety loves company.
sure.
Could also be the tagline for like every movie of the 90s that was in the
Yeah.
Woody Allen mold.
My
Best
neuroses.
Yeah. Have you ever noticed that people are sometimes kooky? Best line. Oh, I was going to wear my goatee.
No.
I'll save one of them. I'll save that one for you because I know that you've probably not only written it down but tattooed it in ink.
Lived it. Are we doing
Yeah, go back.
botany? Come on, I'm a little guy. What are you talking about? You're enormous. You're huge.
Are you going to go to the rally? Oh, I've done that one. Sorry. I begged you to not get off Prozac.
Don't you guys ever wish there's another position in sex?
You know, even though all 618 of us were wearing caps and gowns out there today, I couldn't help but think it was a coincidence that we were both wearing black.
Oh, I knew you'd like that one.
Mm.
I wish we were going off to war.
I like that you drink. I like a bartender who drinks. Otherwise, I feel like I'm being poisoned. Great line.
That is great. I do like that one.
I have two
I'm
left.
nostalgic for events that haven't occurred. I'm reminiscing this right now.
I have two left. One that again I'll save for you because I feel like it'll have. Oh, and then another one which you'll have avoided for moral reasons, which is I'm going to be 17 tomorrow. Well, now you can read 17 magazine and get all the references, which maybe makes the entire thing worth it.
Good. You took personality. No, I took behavior. They're totally different. The girl in the club finding out Grover's 22 and calling him Old Man River.
That's correct.
Hawks, cougars, jerk-offs, who gives a shit? Essentially, we're not friends. Basically, you're a fuckhead.
You still haven't said the one that
The one that
surely
you
hit
thought that I was gonna have tattooed on my eyes.
what I used to be able to pass off as a bad summer could now potentially turn into a bad life,
Oh shit! Yeah.
which is the dictum of the film. You know, the dictum's not a word.
I
Um,
at time of recording, it's the beginning of September, and I recently begged my friends to hang out with me on the autumn equinox and just do something to commemorate the changing of the seasons because I'm not in school anymore for the first time, and I need something to remind my body that that the chapters of my life are going to change. So we'll keep you posted on what we do.
write that one down. A few fun facts. Did you know that this movie was produced by Jason Blum of Blumhouse and the Horror Maestro?
Oh,
Because he
wow.
was Baumbach's college roommate and was producing a film for the first time. And he obtained financing after receiving a letter from family acquaintance Steve Martin endorsing the script. And then they sent the letter with the copies of the script around Hollywood.
Plumbing again.
Plumbing.
Plumbing.
Plumbing again.
That was a very, very veiled reference to gumping again.
Wow, there I go, gumping again. Did that even make it into the final film?
Nope.
So you're referencing a
Layers.
deleted scene from our improv comedy. I don't have any
I
other
didn't think
proof.
you'd spend too much time on it.
I I don't have any other fun facts other than it was originally titled Fifth Year. Tom's big question. Is this where my addiction to the phrase or something in my writing comes from? Because this movie has it like 3 different
Oh
times.
my God, yeah. Yeah.
You hate when I write or something, even though people do say that
Because
all
you
the
know
time.
exactly what you're trying to say.
Yeah, and people
Like
say
the character, but like the characters know
it's like
exactly
people
what.
saying hung. Sorry, it's like people saying hanged, and you once editor said it's actually hung, and I was like, yeah, but people get it wrong in real life.
Actually, it depends on the context. Sometimes it is hanged. Carry on.
And sometimes it's her. But
Yeah,
something.
that guy was totally hanged. Hanged like a horse.
Let's talk about this or not. Communal sex, beds and bunks, awful.
Awful.
I can't
Awful.
get into that at all.
I was in a dorm. I lived in a dorm for 4 months, and I thank my stars every day that my roommate had a long distance boyfriend. They would still argue over the phone, and I would have to take a ceremonial walk around my accommodation just to be nice. But like I imagine there are a lot of like that is a big thing.
I again
But it's
lived on a
weird.
cruise,
It
and
goes.
it was bunks, and the wonderful dancer I lived with for the first contract where I didn't get busy said to me, he was Ukrainian, and he said, just put the hat on the door. And I was like that, and he was because he used to go like work out at night. He was built like a brick shithouse. He was sensational anyway, and he was like, I'll just go punch a bag. But yeah, no,
What?
punch a bag, punch a bag,
What's meaning what?
punching a bag.
Oh, I thought we were still in like sex euphemisms.
Oh no 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 no.
Oh, so you said put something on the door.
Yeah, but by the
Yeah,
time
well
that, but
that's
by the
still
time
better
that
because
you,
it's like you can
no,
leave, you have ample time to leave and
but
make
what
other
if he's
arrangements
already
for
in the room?
yourself.
It just the whole thing just doesn't work. The best contracts were
No,
dictated by
we're
if
in
I had, yeah.
agreement. We are in agreement, but I find it baffling that that is something that real people do.
I don't even like having to be, well, I have to obviously by necessity, but roommates and like
I
that,
don't like living with other people. No, I like living with other people.
and it's like,
Um,
where's Tom? Oh, he's in this room for 50 minutes and the TV's really loud.
there's no one in there.
Everybody knows painfully true. Well, we'll
He's
see.
watching a supercut of Nicole Kidman movies again.
Rest in peace, Nicole Kidman's mother. Again, this comes out a year from now, so Nicole Kidman winning. Did you see that she Baby Girl? Again, Baby Girl will have come out and either suck or be great or my film of the year. Oh, we have no
There's
idea.
always tomorrow. The hope of the unknown.
I hope of Baby Girl. I yeah. What were we talking about? Now we're just talking about our sex lives. Rhian, any final thoughts on Kicking and Screaming?
It did what it set out to do very well. Yeah, I think I'm glad we both had our kind of converging thoughts and our different thoughts, like mostly towards the ending. I feel like that's very indicative of like where we're both at
Well, like,
and
do
our
you know
relationship.
about the Graduate ending?
No.
No, so I won't ruin the Graduate ending, I guess. But like, no, it's a really funny story though. Anyway, all I'll say is that there's a moment where two people are sat and you can see on their faces the realization of what have we done, and it holds on it, and it's one of the great endings ever. And my first girlfriend just thought that they were bored. I was like, no, 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 no. This is one of the great endings ever. We're watching them in real time, realize that maybe they've made a bad choice. She goes, no, I thought they were just bored because they're on the bus, and then the music starts, and then the movie ends. Incredible, lovely woman. I hope she's well, wherever she is. The wonderful Kicking and Screaming. Next is Squid and the Whale, which is already recorded. After that, isn't that Isn't it? It's Nicole season.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I believe it's Margot at the Wedding, isn't it? Isn't it Margot at the Wedding? Yeah, Nicole season with one of my most average Nicole movies. Again, maybe I watched Margot at the Wedding for the first time when I was 18. So again, all of these movies, people like a guy, my dad's best friend who's passed, but he said to me when I was a kid something about Casablanca, and he was like, "You're not going to understand it until you're 30." And then I watched it at like 15, and I was like, "Yeah, I get it." But then I feel, and then it's not that. I mean, we go back to the brutal direction that I once got before Jenny left me, which was you can tell that nobody's broke your heart yet, Tom.
Oh.
And now, what's your favorite?
No one's ever said that to you.
What did it? No, you like me when I play a sad dad.
Oh, yeah.
Which does bleed into sad Tom.
No, but that's not a sad dad. That's a dad with a sad son.
Yeah. Which I did once for a 4-minute scene.
A 4-minute scene. It wasn't even your main part, and
No.
I was crying.
Oh. Anybody can do that. Anybody can. The wonderful
It's
kicking.
the northern.
It's the northern affectation. The wonderful kicking and screaming. Okay. That's it. I should have, years ago, I should have come up with a formula to end these. And I never did.
But this is perfect for this film.
Oh, yeah, just ends. Is there a, right. So your current, we've recorded Swim the Well. What is your current top 3 ranking? Go.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, we know
it's Marriage Story.
It's Marriage Story, Kicking and Scream, Squid the Whale, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Don't ask me after everyone.
Okay. All right, I'll get that one. Okay, then.
I'll come up with the kind of formation as we get to the end, I think.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Once you had the whole picture.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Okay. Wonderful stuff. The wonderful kicking and screaming. Goodbye.
Bye.
Dabba 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 da da ba. Ba 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 ba.